Hello everyone, I'm Rob the Robot from the Adobe Education team, and I would like to welcome you to the Inject Creativity Live Show. This is an online show for educators interested in digital creativity. This show is live on the Adobe for Education YouTube channel, as well as other social media, and past recordings can be viewed via bit.ly/Adobe-Inject. Any teacher, whether an Adobe user or not, in any K-12 or higher education sector and any subject area is welcome. Here are your hosts, Dr. Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Thanks, Rob, and welcome to the Inject Creativity Live Show, an online show aimed to inspire educators to enhance digital literacy, communication, and creativity skills for themselves and for their students. Welcome, Erin.
Hi, Tim, and a special welcome to everyone who's joining us live on Wednesday, the 14th of July, 2021, either on the Adobe for Education YouTube channel, usually Tim Kitchen's YouTube channel, as well as the Australasian Adobe and Education Facebook group. We encourage you to say hi in the chat wherever you are and let us know where you are from and where you teach.
Now, we don't have you live on the Adobe for Education YouTube channel for tonight. We're still having a little technical issue, which we thought we'd fixed up, but we'll work on that next week. So we're alive.
For those of you who are watching the recording, it'll be popped over on that channel. So thank you for joining us.
It'll be there very soon, but thank you for joining us, those who have already via the other streaming platforms. Hey, while you're in the chat, sharing a bit about yourself, we would like to do an acknowledgement of country. We respect and honour Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander elders past, present and future, as well as all Indigenous people from the lands we reach out to during this event.
We acknowledge their stories, traditions and living cultures. We acknowledge them as the first peoples in our lands, the first creatives and the first scientists, and we commit to building a brighter future together.
During this episode, Adobe Education leader Dr. Karen Sutherland from the University of Sunshine Coast will be one of our special guests.
Our education thought leader for this episode will be the wonderful Dan Haesler, Director of Cut-Through Coaching and Consulting.
Adobe Education leader Michelle Dennis, Head of Digital at Hailbury College, will also be making a special appearance.
And of course, our behind-the-scenes guru, Adobe Customer Success Manager Jerry Wong, will have a special quiz question for us.
Before we hear from our guests, let's see who has joined us live for this show so far and has said hi in the chat. So I'm just going into the chat to see. Oh, we've got a regular, John. Let's see, John saying, good evening all. Nice to be here. John from Toowoomba. It's great to have you with us again. And we've got a guest that I don't think I've met before, but Shamila, thank you for joining us. From Dubai. Wow, I think this is the first time we've reached out to Dubai on this show, so a double welcome to you. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. Tim Cosgrove is also with us too, all the way from very warm Toronto, which when we have Tim crossing, but it's very early in the morning as well, so thank you so much, Tim, for joining us on this particular show.
Wonderful.
All right, let's see what Rob the Robot has to say for us.
You're watching Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Thanks, Rob. Let's now welcome our good friend and the Inject Creativity Live moderator and techie whiz, Jerry Wong. Hello, Jerry. Bring yourself up.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I will be looking out for your comments and questions in the chat and posting the most relevant ones. To encourage you to use the live chat, I have an Adobe-related quiz question for you. Name any one of the new 3D apps that are now officially part of the Creative Cloud.
There you go, folks. There's a challenging question for you.
Now, we've got some people thinking in the chat. No responses yet. It'll be interesting to see how quickly everyone gets back to us because there's been a bit of a promotion for some of these things recently.
It has been. Got a little bit of background music in there. Can you hear that background music?
Yep, thinking music.
Thinking music. Let's see if that inspires anyone. We've got a couple of regulars with us in John and Tim, and I'm surprised they haven't responded already because this was big news 2 weeks ago. Oh, there we go. We've got someone. Well done, John. That deserves a round of applause, but I've lost my sound effects. Oh no, they were there before. Anyway, we'll give you a virtual round of applause. Congratulations, John. We can get rid of the thinking music now. Here we go. Adobe Substance 3D Modeler is one of them. Actually, technically, Modeler is yet to come, I think. That's the one that hasn't quite come out yet. The other four have come out, and we've got a Stager and Painter and Sampler and Designer. And Modeler is on the way. But John, I'm going to congratulate you anyway for at least knowing that. And this is really exciting, folks, because it's been a long time since we've introduced a full Adobe app into the Creative Cloud. And now we've got four of them already with one on the way. And these are all focused on 3D design. Now, Erin, I'm going to play a quick video for us, which gives us a bit of information about what these apps can do with the official Adobe Substance 3D video. Jerry, how do we learn about these? Here, he's brought up the slide here, substance3d.adobe.com/tutorials. That's how you can start to learn these amazing new applications from Adobe. It's a whole new world, folks. It's not about 2D anymore. So much of our photography is 3D, our virtual photography is 3D, and this allows your students into it. Erin, I'm just picturing now thousands of teachers thinking, I'm going to have to rewrite my curriculum now that these tools come out. Yeah, but all for a good cause. So get involved. And John's saying, looking forward to playing with the new apps. It's really cool. And, I remember, Erin, you're at TAFE Queensland, and I was working with some TAFE Queensland teachers earlier this week, and we just mentioned that these new apps, and some of them got really excited and some of them didn't. But, that's the way it goes with lots of new things. So looking forward to seeing what you guys end up doing, and more importantly, what your students end up doing.
Yeah, it's an exciting new world, and I'm always appreciative of how students take something that you give them and then they flip it sideways and use it in an amazing, creative but unexpected way.
Absolutely.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Well, let's welcome our guests for this episode. Karen, let's bring you up onto the screen. Welcome to the show. For those who haven't met you before, tell us how long you've been an Adobe Education Leader and where you teach and what you do.
Well, I think I've been an Adobe Education Leader for about 2 years now. Time flies, So, and I'm a senior lecturer in public relations at the University of the Sunshine Coast in Queensland. My main focus is I lead the social media courses there. So we have a Bachelor of Communication Social Media. So I'm the program coordinator. And so I lead the curriculum of social media.
And a lot of people who are watching this are probably saying, I recognize that voice, I recognize that face, because Karen features in a lot of our course videos. So if you've done the Adobe Creative Educator course, you've probably heard from Karen several times, and it's been wonderful to have her contribute to that base level 1 course and all the other things that she does as well. So Karen, we're really looking forward to hearing from you later on in the show.
Thank you.
And Dan, it is wonderful to have you join us again. I believe you have a new book soon to be released titled The Act of Leadership. Tell us all about it.
Indeed. It's coming out in about 2 weeks, actually. It's a book that has been a fair few years in the making, and the lockdown the first one last year gave me some opportunity to actually sit down and get it out of the head and onto the laptop. And yeah, it actually now exists. And
Wow.
yeah, August 2nd, it hits the bookstores, and we've got a couple of launch events planned for that. But essentially, it's about the idea that when I was speaking with the publishers, I said, look, nobody needs another leadership book, right? There's tens of thousands of titles out there. And but what it really is about is everyone knows what they're supposed to do. They just don't know how to do it in the heat of the moment. So the book is all around really being mindful and being deliberate about showing up as the person that we know we want to be, and coming up with ways to actually do that on a day-to-day basis. So hence the act of leadership, not just knowing about it.
Well, I've
Fantastic.
already pre-ordered it, Dan. I'm really looking
You're a
forward.
good man, Tim. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's one reader. Beautiful.
You've got. I'm sure there's plenty more who have pre-ordered as well. And Dan, in your first book, I had the great honour of writing a little blurb at the back of your book, and I described you as the Australian version of Sir Ken Robinson. How's that, hey?
Yeah, it's not bad, although I am English as well, so it's an interesting tension. But yeah, no, it's I was very grateful to have your endorsement on the back of that. So I appreciate the support that you and Adobe have all, you've been part of the journey since I started, really, back in 2013, 14, doing this kind of work. So yeah, great to be here tonight.
It's great to have you back on the show, Dan. We're looking forward to hearing from you soon. Michelle Dennis, speaking of people who feature in a lot of the Adobe course videos too, I was talking to Karen about this earlier. I was running a course today with a bunch of Queensland teachers, and both Karen's face came up and Michelle's face came up several times during the course, and we really appreciate your efforts. So it's great to have you back on the show. Tell us about your role at Haesler College, the largest independent school in the Southern Hemisphere.
Well, I'm very lucky because being head of digital means you get to play with all the fun things. For example, on our first day back, I got to run a session for ELC about STEM in the ELC. So I'm trying to brainwash them early, all the way up to year 12.
Nice. Good. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Fantastic. And so, Karen, what will you be sharing with us during this episode?
Well, I just wanted to share Adobe Stock and how we use it. You were seeing how it actually really saved us this year, and particularly for students and staff. So,
looking forward to it. Dan, tell us what you'll be sharing.
Yeah, I'll be continuing on my little theme of student engagement and looking at the, I guess, essential requirements for authentic engagement. So not just for students as it happens, but also adults. So we've already spoken about belonging and purpose, and this one will be introducing another idea.
Lovely. Oh, I think you're on mute there, Erin.
Sorry, doggo in the background. Michelle, what will you be sharing with us?
I was lucky enough to be part of an amazing podcast called the Creative Educator podcast. And it was a great opportunity to reflect back on our time during distant learning, which for some of us is not that distant at the moment.
Well, we are looking forward to hearing from all of you very soon.
You're watching Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
You may have already noticed that Karen and Michelle are both members of the Adobe Education Leadership Community. That's the AEL community. This is the highest level of Adobe's education programs. And according to the official Adobe Education Leaders website, there are only 266 AELs in the whole planet. So it's a very exclusive program with 62, and that is 23% of them, living and working in the Australasian region.
Adobe Education Leaders are active members of the Adobe Education Exchange and are very passionate about using Adobe applications to enhance digital literacy, communication, and creativity skills in schools and universities.
They regularly share this passion with a network of educators wider than their own school or faculty and help support the work of the Adobe and education teams around the globe.
If you're interested in becoming an AEL, the first step is to do the Adobe Creative Educator program and get your ACE Level 1 and 2 badges. You can see more at adobe.ly/ACE.
When you've been part of the ACE program and shown that you are part of a wider education network, you could be in line to be nominated to become an Adobe Education Leader.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Speaking of Adobe Education Leaders, one of our most active is Michelle Dennis, Head of Digital at Haesler College in Melbourne.
Michelle, you recently featured in one of the Creative Educator podcast series episodes hosted by Stacey Trowbridge from the Global Adobe Education team. Please tell us more about this podcast.
One of the things I love about this podcast is it's hosted by, as you said, Stacey, and she is the most insightful person I've had the pleasure of speaking to. So to have her interview me was an incredibly reflective practice. She has the most beautiful voice. So in terms of a podcast, that's the kind of thing you want, something that's going to make you think and something that's pleasant to listen to as you drive or walk around the house. It's the best PD you can do because you can multitask.
And you're right, Michelle, Stacey is incredibly insightful because she employed me. Just saying. She was my first boss.
Not that you're biased or anything.
It's amazing.
Well, I am jealous. She must be amazing to work for.
She was, and we were on calls together at least once a week. Now I get to connect with her about once a month, which is a highlight of my month, connecting with Stacey. I hope she's watching this. It's good. Hey, Michelle, what's this particular podcast about?
The podcast is timed with the end of the US school year and the beginning of the new one. And so the focus is a positive and optimistic approach to looking back at what we've been through in 2021. And I think that's such a powerful thing to be able to do, to take that time to go, what are we learned? Have we learned? What are our students capable of? And how can we take that and move forward with it and make education better? And that's one of the things I really loved about it. Partway through 2021, being able to look back, see what we've achieved and go, are we actually making the most of it? And what changes have we made going forward? I have to say, it's made me approach semester 2 a little bit differently, just having that time to talk about what we've applied and all those things that you kind of go, oh, I did want to do that, but the world is a busy place. Just reminding us that we need to make sure that we don't lose all our learnings.
Yes, very true. Michelle, it's the end of the year for the Northern Hemisphere, so that's why it's kind of a reflection piece of the year that was. But for you, it's sort of like a half year that was. But as you were saying, let's have a listen to the start of the podcast. So I'm in that site that's being advertised in the ticker at the moment, and I'm just clicking the little play button down below.
Take a listen.
Oops.
Since
I'm going to take it back to the start. Here we go. Nice music. Get you in the mood for a podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the Creative Educator Podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Trowbridge.
There you go. Oh, what a voice. What a lady. Amazing. So, that's just brilliant. And Michelle, thank you for joining us. I know it's been a very hectic week for you with so many things happening at Haesler College. We appreciate you sparing just a few minutes to promote the podcast. It's one of 7 podcasts. We've already had nearly 3,500 downloads already. And if you can't find it through that link that's now available on the ticker, as you see on the screen, it's also available in any place where you get your good podcasts as we speak. Michelle, anything else you wanted to share before we disappear? Would you disappear?
No, although I have to say I'm super excited about the 3D tools. I'm glad you mentioned them earlier.
Nice. Excellent. All right. Thanks again, Michelle.
You're watching Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Adobe recently launched a new course on the Adobe Education Exchange titled Preparing Students with the Essential Creative Skills.
In this self-paced course, you'll learn about essential creative skills like problem solving, communication, critical thinking, and collaboration, and how you can use Adobe apps to cultivate these skills in your students and prepare them for the future.
You'll hear from expert educators who teach creative skills, dive into how to assess these skills, and access hundreds of free lesson plans and projects that combine educational content in any subject area with the powerful and engaging Adobe tools.
Here's a short video that explains more.
At a time when the world of work is changing rapidly and the jobs of the future haven't even been invented yet, you can prepare your students to thrive with Adobe's course on teaching essential creative skills. Across 10 bite-sized videos designed specifically for educators, discover why the World Economic Forum, LinkedIn, and almost 85% of students value creativity as the key to unlocking a world of potential. Learn to help your students develop essential creative skills like creative thinking, creative problem solving, and creative communication. And hear from educators who are teaching those skills right now across disciplines, subjects, and age groups. So check out this free course on the Adobe Education Exchange and join our community of creative educators and instructional designers today.
And you can look up bit.ly/adobe-skills-course to find out more and register.
Or scan this QR code, which will take you to the course starter page of the Adobe Education Exchange.
Hi folks, we are about to be inspired by an AEL, an Adobe Education Leader. AELs are passionate about the use of Adobe tools to inspire creative learning and teaching experiences in the delivery of either primary, secondary or post-secondary curricula. The first step to becoming an AEL is to be an ACE, an Adobe Creative Educator, via edx.adobe.com/adobe-creative-educator. You don't have to be an Adobe expert to be an ACE, just a teacher interested in engaging students through creative digital learning experiences. The ACE program is a free international micro-credentialing program. It only takes a few hours to earn your Level 1 badge, and the focus is on creativity rather than Adobe. Please share this program with your colleagues and get involved. Who knows, you may one day also become an Adobe Education Leader.
Thanks, Rob. It's a delight to welcome Adobe Education Leader Dr. Karen Sutherland from the University of the Sunshine Coast. Over to you, Karen.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Well, I hope I inspire you. I feel the pressure now. But I wanted to share with you tonight it has been quite a new discovery for me, Adobe Stock, I learned about it earlier this year, and it really came out of a need, and I wish I had known about it earlier. I have to preface this by saying that at USC, we do have the enterprise Adobe tools. So we have that package because it's used by students and staff. So what this really helped with, so let me first say that Adobe Stock it's an amazing image and video and photo library. So it really helps us, our students and our staff. And I'll give you 2 case studies, and then I'll take you on a little tour of Adobe Stock. So firstly, because of last year with when a lot of classes moved online, and we were primarily a face-to-face teaching university. So the social media courses were online that I teach, and I think there was some criminology courses, and the MBA was online, but everything else face-to-face. And so our academics had about a week to shift everything online, and they were really put on the back foot. We didn't really use Adobe Stock then, and I'm sure if they'd known about it, they would have, definitely. But because of that, most courses now are available online. And because of that too, the traditional lecture is really becoming a thing of the past. And so what the push has been now has been to asynchronous content. So particularly for a flipped classroom. And so for those who don't know, flipped means that you create content and have activities or videos, lecture content already recorded that students are supposed to watch before and undertake before they actually come to class. And then they come to class and then we discuss and unpack it in a synchronous environment. So because of that, a lot of our academics were told you have to create your lectures ahead of time. And we were also told about the duration needs to be, you can't just have a talking head the whole time. They need to be interactive, and all these different requirements were put on them. Now, a lot of our lecturers are not familiar with content creation. Like they're used to the traditional lecture style. And so they had to learn quickly, very quickly to produce this content. And so Adobe Stock really helped with that, particularly the video content, because it allowed them to create really interesting and engaging little snippets of content around the concepts that they would normally unpack in a live lecture. And they could use Adobe Stock to actually cut up, there still was a bit of talking head going on, I must admit, but it allowed them to break that up with other content to allow them it to be much easier for viewing for the students. So that's one way that Adobe Stock has helped our staff, our academic staff, and essentially our students too, by making learning a bit more innovative and a bit more interesting, because the lectures have had to undergo a huge transformation in the online space, because attention spans are short and getting shorter, and most people just don't want to sit and watch someone speaking for an hour. It's just not that interesting. So there was that. On the other side, it's really helped our students, because my students in particular, in many of our social media courses, students work directly with real clients. So in one particular course, it's called Social Media Content Curation and Creation. And so each student is paired with a local business owner, and they must collaborate with that business owner to develop a social media strategy and then create 5 pieces of social media content based on that strategy. So it's really embodying the characteristics of the platform, the key messages, really supporting the goals of the strategy. So they're learning how to be strategic in their approach to social media, which is really great. But it's good when people can actually go and capture this content face to face. But this semester, we've had a couple of lockdowns. We've now got a campus in the Moreton Bay region, and this course was delivered at that campus for the first time as well. So we had a bit of a geographical boundary where some Moreton Bay students were paired with Sunshine Coast students, and Sunshine Coast businesses. And that means that it's about an hour to an hour and a half drive. So it really wasn't really an easy thing for Moreton Bay students to come to the Sunshine Coast and things of that nature. And so again, Adobe Stock really helped with that. So some students, what they did was they interviewed their clients via Zoom, and then they edited it up that using other Adobe tools to a Premiere Rush and Premiere Pro, and they used also Adobe Spark to bring in the content they'd created and developed first and gathered firsthand with the stock images and the stock video to sort of mix that up as well and produce some really professional looking types of content. So that's how Adobe Stock has helped us in that way. So it's actually been a bit of a lifesaver for our staff and our students. So let me just show you now what I'm talking about and why I'm so excited about it. So here is Adobe Stock. So you can get through it. Now my cat's coming for a visit. So this is Adobe Stock, and you can see here it's pretty much just like a search engine. You can see here some of the things I've searched for previously, social media, of course, cats, and other things that I've needed in the past. And here you can select whatever you want. So it has all of these options, like videos, audio, so even sound files as well. You can choose some free because pieces of content there, you're charged credits for them. So there are some items that are free as well, and there's also some 3D ones too. So let me look for some video, and I'll look for a beach because I'm on the Sunshine Coast. Excuse me while I move my cat. So let me just search. And so you can see here, you just get a whole range. You can see all the results in there. I mean, and you can be even more specific around that as well. The beauty of it is there is just so many options in here, because we had students with clients who were they were like pest controllers and florists and mechanics and restaurants and you name it. And they could find something here to suit their clients. So even if we look at florist, so just these great little snippets that could be brought in to their videos. And what they could do too is sort of couple them with images and video that their client could provide to them, and then they could actually do and sort of mix it up in that way. Some of the other great features of this is its filters. So it means that you can get things that are much higher in resolution, or even lower, depending on what your needs are. You can select the time. So if you need a certain amount of time, and this is a really great feature, particularly if because our whole campus and university has access to this. If you want content that other people in your organization hasn't used, you can click that, and it will only show you the content that hasn't been used by anyone in your organization. So your content will look nice and fresh as well. So even if we have a look at some of the other things too, it even has things like templates. Oh, there was nothing there for florist. For 3D. But even little templates and other sort of things that you can bring in. And you'll notice on some of the other Adobe tools is that you can actually, if you have access to Adobe Stock, you can actually do searches within the other tools and bring things in, or you can even save things to your own library. And so then you can create little collections of images and video that you can draw on in other things. And so our students used a range of products. They used Adobe, they used other products too, but they were able to download, same with the staff, download and then use whatever tool was their choice. But of course, mostly they used Adobe tools. And I just found it just so easy and just vast. Like there are other image and video libraries around, but this just seemed to have so many options that I was really impressed by that. We were also lucky to have an Adobe rep cabinet actually come and give a little tutorial for us to walk us through how to use it. And so just having that, and just a lot of our staff didn't even know it existed. And once they knew, they were just so grateful and signed up and been using it ever since. And it's really increased the quality of their learning materials, and it's impressed students as well, because I think when we shifted online and it was so fast last year, and a lot of our academics weren't familiar with the online environment. It really showed in some of the content because it was fast and they just didn't know. But over time, they really developed their skills, and using things like this just really increases the quality. And by doing that, it actually increases the trust with the students, and that they're actually getting a quality of education as well, because it looks like the academics know what they're doing in the communication of their discipline. They clearly are experts in their discipline, don't get me wrong, but they're not at the heart of it content creators unless they're teaching things like design and screen media and things of that nature. So it's really helped our academics to be able to connect better with their students and teach their students essentially. So I think that's really all I have to show you in terms of Adobe Stock now. Does anyone have any questions about it?
Michelle, Karen, thank you. I was going to bring up Erin as well. Look, really impressed to hear how you're using Adobe Stock. I'm glad you mentioned that it's not the only repository of images out there. There are things like Unsplash and Pixabay that you can go to when you're a school teacher and you don't have the finances or resources within your school to purchase Adobe Stock. Glad you mentioned the free version of it too. There are some free assets there. But what I love about it, I've been using Adobe Stock for a couple of years, is if I need to find an image or a video, there's always something in Adobe Stock. If I go to Unsplash, Pixabay, some of those free sources, I often struggle. I have to keep searching until I find a royalty-free image that I can actually use. And because I publish so much, I have to make sure everything is royalty-free, Creative Commons. I can't be seen to be using just any image out there. And a lot of teachers and students don't realize that. They just grab stuff from Google Images and think they can publish it. It's just, you're not allowed to do that. You really shouldn't encourage your students to do that at all. Karen, how do you find that? Because you teach the area of social media. That's your area of expertise. When you've got students who are just grabbing images from anywhere and then thinking they can publish it, is that an issue that you're having to work through at your university?
Every course. Every course, and it's we cover copyright in every course, and even for my social media book, I have a whole chapter on that where I actually interviewed a lawyer. There's a social media law firm in the States, and the lawyer that I interviewed talked about that, and I play that interview every class just to let them know, because, and I tell the story of I was working at Monash University a while ago, and we had a class blog, and I told the students not to do it, but one of them did, and a photographer from Japan ended up chasing me down on my holidays and said, "Take it down, or we're going to sue you." And so
my gracious,
so at least we got the chance to take it down. So I think sometimes they feel like it's not real, but it's very real. It's very real. So
it's such an evolving space as well with the legal and copyright issues, as well as things like model releases. Like, there's so many things that students have to keep in mind as they're learning.
Absolutely. And I think showing them the options, that I think they think it's too hard, but when you actually show the process and they learn the process, they realize it's actually not that hard to do the ethical and legal thing.
Now, Karen, I'm just going to bring up your website here so we can see that. There you are. Look at you. Let me just refresh this so it gets back to the start, which I think it pretty much was there. This is one of your websites, and it's drkarensutherland.com. Nice, easy one to remember. And you mentioned your book. Is that something we can look for here on this website?
I think I should. This is the actual ad for it. This video, but it's actually it's on Amazon, and it's on in the Palgrave Macmillan website as well. So it's called Strategic Social Media Management Theory and Practice.
Nice.
So actually I've got it here. I've been referring to it today. So
nice.
Yeah, so it's a handbook. Like I've written it. It is an academic book, but I've written it in a way that anyone can use it, because I think social media is such a core communication skill now that it needs to. It's more than marketers that need to be able to use it well.
Good. I'm creating a quick little banner here that advertises your website, and so we can find out more information about it. Should be coming up in a sec. Here we go, drkarensutherland.com. And look, we really appreciate you being part of our community. There's so much we can learn from you. We're hoping that you'll be able to present at our summit coming up later in the year, and we're looking forward to engaging with you on this show and in all sorts of other ways in the future. So Karen, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Good. Let's hear from Rob again.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Adobe have recently launched a major partnership with the Khan Academy.
The Khan Academy is a not-for-profit educational organisation created in 2006 by Sal Khan with the goal of creating a set of online tools that help educate students.
Originally focused on the teaching of mathematics, now with over 120 million registered users. I'll say that again, 120 million. Look, we're just about to hit 1 million on the Education Exchange. 120 million registered users. The Khan Academy provides resources for a wide range of curriculum areas.
The goal of this partnership is to support the development of new free online learning resources that foster creative and critical thinking skills, helping all students reach their potential and ultimately be better prepared for the future.
The partnership includes a new course on the Adobe Education Exchange called Teach Creativity with Adobe and Khan Academy, as well as a series of teaching resources. Look up bit.ly/Adobe-Khan-Course21 for more information.
The aim of the new course and the teaching resources is to help teachers learn how to use creative activities and projects to drive student engagement, deepen their learning, and set them up for future success. This clip explains more.
Millions of students and educators worldwide have used Khan Academy to learn and practice core academic content across subjects. Adobe, meanwhile, is the leader in tools and curriculum that allows students to practice creativity, communication, and digital skills. We're so excited to bring these two organizations together with a new, easy-to-use, adaptable, and innovative curriculum. In this new self-paced course for educators, Teach Creativity with Adobe and Khan Academy, we'll introduce you to over 100 lessons, activities, and projects that combine Khan Academy content with creative extensions using Adobe tools. You'll dive deep into pedagogy and instructional design. Hear from real educators across K-12 and higher ed.
It's a beautiful blend of informative and engaging content
who have transformed their students' learning outcomes with these innovative approaches. Plus, with an end-of-course assignment, you'll have the option to receive a digital credential and certificate for professional development hours. So, whether you want to teach literature, science, history and social sciences, art history, math, or storytelling with Pixar in a box, this free course will teach you to weave core content and creative projects in flexible, exciting, and engaging ways. Sign up today on the Adobe Education Exchange.
You're watching Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Data3 is a company. Oh, sorry, Jerry, I just mucked you up. Oh, we mucked you up again. There we go. Data3 is a company that partners with Adobe throughout Australia to provide access to the Adobe Creative Cloud applications to schools, as well as Microsoft software access.
Earlier this year, Adobe Education leader Jason Lane from Brisbane, Dr. Kitchen and Stephen Payne from Microsoft teamed up with Data3 to produce a resource that links the integration between Adobe Spark and Microsoft with a focus in linking Spark with OneNote and Microsoft Teams.
You can use this QR code or the link bit.ly/Data3-Adobe-MS21 to have a look at this resource.
And please do share it with your colleagues and wider education networks.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
Erin, we have over 26,000 teachers. In fact, I looked it up just before the show went to air. 26,390 teachers who have enrolled in at least level 1 of the Adobe Creative Educator program. Please do promote this program with your colleagues via adobe.ly/ACE. The focus, as we've said before, is not on Adobe skills, but understanding the importance of creativity in education.
If you'd like to be guided through level 1, Dr. Kitchen is running the next Be a Creative Educator course on Monday the 30th of August, 4 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. More information can be found at bit.ly/adobe-edu-creative.
Hi folks, well it's now time to welcome our education thought leader for their 5-minute gem to inspire us and make us think more deeply about the importance of our role as educators.
And our thought leader for this episode of Inject Creativity Live is Dan Haesler, Director of Cut-Through Coaching and Consulting. Dan is about to share the third and final of his series on student engagement. Over to you, Dan.
Thanks very much, Tim. So over the past couple of sessions, we've been talking a little bit about student engagement and exploring what's required for authentic engagement and the essential elements that we need to have. And one of the overarching themes is this idea of to be authentically engaged, we need to be intrinsically motivated to do something. If we're just doing it because of, we're going to get a reward, or we're doing something because someone's told us to, then we're certainly engaged, we're busy, our effort and our time is accounted for. But if we're really striving as educators to authentically engage our students, then we need to think about, well, if it's an intrinsic concept, what is it that we can do as the educators to create the environment that makes it easier for people to and students or our colleagues to want to engage in that? And so we've been playing with these ideas over the previous sessions around belonging, purpose, autonomy, and mastery. And I spoke a couple of times ago about the idea of belonging, a sense of tribiness, a sense of school connectedness, not only being really important for engagement, but actually whole person stuff. We're talking about well-being, depression, having that sense of people have got my back is critical. In the last session, we spoke about purpose and different ways that we can create purpose, whether it's from trying to change the world, or maybe changing someone's world, or perhaps just finding authentic audiences for our work. Is to answer that question, why are we doing this? To what end are we doing this? And obviously, there was a little, focus on the power of technology in order to find that purpose, particularly when it comes to engaging with an authentic audience. In this session, I want to touch on this idea of autonomy. And when we talk about autonomy, we're talking about this sense of having real agency and volition and a sense of control over our life. And it's been quite interesting to explore this concept of autonomy just in the past 12 to 18 months, when a lot of us in society at large have had our agency and our volition taken away to some degree. For example, I'm in Sydney as we speak, and we're under restrictions, nothing to the extent of elsewhere around Australia and certainly elsewhere around the world. But at the moment, there are certain things which I don't have any control over. And it's quite interesting to recognize the importance of autonomy when we're talking about human behavior, because without it, as I mentioned before, without it, we could certainly be complying. We could be doing as we're told. We can be doing it for fear of, well, what happens if we don't do it? But we certainly don't have that sense of invigoration and that sense of doing it for some, real deeper meaning. And the completion of the task actually is reward in itself. We don't have any of that. And actually, depending on where you live and your experiences of the past 12 to 18 months, it's been quite interesting to see how, when people's sense of autonomy has been reduced in society, how that then plays out. And it plays out in panic buying. They can't control whether they can travel or not. They can't control whether they can hug their loved ones or not. But I am going to do whatever I can to control how much toilet paper I have in my house. And those little insights into human behavior show how important this sense of autonomy is. People start doing really irrational things when they don't have a sense of autonomy. This is why kids behave in irrational ways, or that's not the way, so let's be quite clear, but it's certainly one way that kids might start acting in irrational ways if they don't feel they've got any agency or volition in what they're being asked to do, in what they have to do. So what I'd like to do just in this very short time that we have is just play with this idea of autonomy, of agency and volition, and say, okay, well, at one end of the spectrum, if we were to say having autonomy enabled you to do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want, with whoever you want, and you don't even have to do it, that's one end of the autonomy spectrum. At the other end, there's no autonomy. You're going to do exactly what I say, when I say, how I say, with who I say, and you are going to do it, or else. Neither end of that spectrum, neither end of that continuum is engaging. Right? So having no boundaries, no guidelines, no frameworks, that isn't engaging. People get quite lost in that world. So as educators thinking, okay, well, how do I navigate this spectrum? And perhaps there are certain people, perhaps there are certain times, perhaps there are certain subjects, perhaps there are certain elements of the day, the work, the idea, where we can just let go of the reins a little bit more and free up that space for people to have a little more agency or volition in their work. And so it's not about throwing everything out and saying, okay, do what you want. It's about just recognizing where you can turn up the dial. You know, maybe giving them a little more voice, for example, in their narrative. So many kids don't own their learning because they never talk about their learning. It's all they're spoken to about their learning through, you know, the teachers giving them feedback or report cards, or parents talking over the top of them to the teacher about their learning. And one way that I've just seen with a school that I've got a loose connection with up the coast. They've just the end of semester one, they sent home digital reports, and the digital reports wasn't just a PDF. It was a little bit of the teacher comment, but then a link that the parents could click, and up pops the kid, literally walking them through the learning that they've done in each area, talking about what they were proudest of, talking about the challenges that they'd experienced, talking about what their learning goals were for next term based on the work that they'd done there. And that, for me, you know, when we're on a call like this, when we're talking, you know, a big company like Adobe, then all the technology that is available, it seems obvious that people would do that, and yet it's so rare that it really stands out when you see it. So the question that I leave with you is this idea that, well, if most curriculum dot points, most outcomes, particularly as students get older and older and older, given that most of them talk about the ability to demonstrate understanding of, I wonder to what extent we can free up and give some autonomy so kids, students, adults can choose how they demonstrate that understanding, and give them that sense of agency and volition that in order for them to be able to put their best foot forward in able to do that. So that is my thought for today. Well
done. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Dan. And I'm really glad you mentioned Adobe tools in New South Wales schools, because they're there. You know, every New South Wales school has full access to the Creative Cloud, and you're absolutely right. They can be used in such creative ways, like doing assessments, like doing, you know, you mentioned it wasn't a PDF. Do you know that within a PDF you can actually click little buttons and actually link to videos? A PDF can be incredibly interactive as well. But I know exactly what you're talking about there, and it's wonderful to see that happening more and more around schools in not just New South Wales, but all over the country. We just recently have now got the Adobe Creative Cloud in all of the Victorian department secondary schools and primary schools as well. Every primary student in Victoria can get full access to the Adobe Creative Cloud. Not every teacher as a primary school, but every student can. So it's just amazing to see what is fully available out there. Dan, we've really appreciated the time and effort you've put into the 3 sessions that you've run for our show. And
pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you very much.
You're watching Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
The 2021 APAC Adobe Education Summit is being held as an online event on Wednesday, the 29th of September.
This event is open to any educator at any sector, level, and curriculum area.
It's going to be a wonderful event involving presentations and news from the global Adobe Education team, creative catalyst talks, and inspiration from local Adobe Education leaders, and lots more.
It is a free event and you can register your interest to be involved at bit.ly/adobe-edu-summit-21.
Please share this link with your colleagues and wider education networks and keep that day free. It is a school holiday period for most of you.
If you're a member of the Adobe Education Leader community, there is a special day just for you the day prior on Tuesday, the 28th of September.
And if you're an Adobe Creative Educator, part of the ACE program, or have at least enrolled in level 1 of the ACE program, there is a Creative Challenge Day for you and the Adobe Education Leaders on Thursday, the 30th of September. More information about these extra days will be sent directly to you.
Register now for the summit and we'll provide more details about the agenda in future episodes of this show.
We hope you're enjoying this episode of Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Erin Raethke.
If you are on Facebook and you're not already a member of the Australasian Adobe Education Community Facebook group, please join via facebook.com/groups/AUSAEL.
This is a great way to keep regularly involved with Adobe in education and the wider community.
Our next Inject Creativity Live event will be on Wednesday, the 28th of July at 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Our AEL presenter will be Adobe Education Leader from New South Wales, Brett Salakis, who will be focusing on digital storytelling and poetry.
And we'll be welcoming back Adobe Education Leader and Education Consultant Paul McLean from New Zealand as our Education Thought Leader.
For those watching the recording of this episode, join us live if you can in the future. It's always much more fun and interactive when you're live. For those watching live, get ready to move to our bluejeans.com/kitchen.adobe for our fireside chat, and we will see you at the next episode.
Thank you very much, folks. We will see you in a couple of weeks.
Well, folks, thank you so much for watching this episode of Inject Creativity Live. For those who are watching live, join us via bluejeans.com/kitchen.adobe for an informal, non-recorded fireside chat to meet and interact with our presenters, as well as complete the feedback form and apply for a professional development certificate. If you are not watching this live, join us live next time. Use this QR code or link to find out more about dates and topics. On behalf of Dr. Kitchen and Erin Raethke, don't forget to keep being creative.